you got to wake up and you got to have the intention and you got to be remembered for giving your best.
Down here in beautiful Broadbeach, I got my buddy Quentin here, all the way from France.
Yep.
Man, tell us about you. You've been wildly successful. I think I first met you back maybe 5 or 6 years ago at my brother's Bucks party, actually.
Yep.
And I beat you in poker that day.
I thought I was going to win.
But I trumped you. It was all in, and then anyway, hit him over. But tell me a little bit about you. Since then, man, you were just starting out in the Herbalife thing, and you were just working with Jared, and now you're wildly successful, got all this business and all these people under you.
Yeah.
Give us a bit of a rundown. How's that journey been from the start, and how did it all develop?
Yeah. So basically, before starting, 6 years ago, I was a rugby player. I've always been into sports, and I was always driven by performance. So already I had the mindset and the mentality of someone who was, going to give my all in anything that I would do. And so basically, when I started, I didn't know much about what we were going to be doing, but what I knew is that I was ready to invest who I was and what I knew into a great business. And fitness and nutrition nowadays, it's a big world, it's a big industry, and what I focused on was being the difference and bringing something a bit different to the marketplace, where we started with free fitness camps, and then we were making sure that when people would leave the fit camp, they would not go somewhere and have random products or random food. We wanted to make sure that out of the fit camp they would get great results.
Yeah.
And focusing on a great customer service, actually, we've managed to build a team of engaged people, and just consistent hard work.
Okay.
I would say that I got the opportunity to go back to France, learning with Jared back here on the Gold Coast, meeting you. It was the start. It was I was not thinking too much. I was ready to learn. I was ready to be a student. And when you're a great student and you learn enough, it's time to apply, right?
Yeah.
And
Kick on.
I just flew back to France, and I started with a great customer service, and we differentiated ourselves with that free fitness camps, and it took over. The difference also is teamwork.
Yeah.
Teamwork is a big thing, and we've had this mission-driven opportunity going on, and we would just work hard every day, and it wasn't hard work, it was passion. And with the squad now we've got over 1,000 people, 1,000 coaches
In France,
1,000 coaches, and we are helping over 10,000 people. So it's now 86 fit camps all around, running all around the country. And what that allowed me to do is, creating, financial freedom. It took me about, less than 3 years to become financially free. And now, I'm looking at, what we have, an opportunity to do more things. And, I'm into real estate, I'm into properties, I'm into, setting up clothes companies. And, someone like you, inspire me for sure, because I see what's possible. I see, of course, I've been traveling the world, but there is one thing that makes the difference also today is being able to market yourself as an authentic person. And this is what I love to see from entrepreneurs. And since day one, this is what I focused on. Being the difference and being the authenticity.
So probably having the background of rugby, being that you were a winner. And you had that drive and motivation, probably was a huge help in the business. What's the similarities between where you are now in your entrepreneur career and where you were when you finished up in rugby, the mindset? And
I guess one word would be adversity. Adversity. Most people, they are scared of adversity. They don't want to get challenged every single day. But I knew about adversity. When you're waking up, you're going for rugby training, it's not going to be easy. You got to have to tear your muscles.
Yeah.
You got to train your brain. You're going to play with others, and you have to give your best, and you got to be selected for the pitch. So it's not like you got to show up and bring your B game. You got to bring your A game. So what I knew from rugby, and the translation, like the transition, was very simple. I just put the mindset that I had in rugby into my business.
Yeah.
And of course, like in any business, you got to study. And I studied about fitness, I studied about nutrition, I studied about people, and making sure we would be a difference for people.
Yeah.
And it took about 1 year of learnings, 1 year of hard work, until it started really blowing up.
Okay, fantastic. And so you're in the Herbalife. I don't know if you actually mentioned it, but you're in the Herbalife business. What's the biggest key with Herbalife as far as what they've taught you or the takeaways from that?
Yeah. So, today there are a lot of network marketing companies out there, starting with great products. Some people don't focus too much on what the product is.
Yeah.
I would say, Herbalife, it's got a great product. And it's not like a product to consume. It's really like a great mission-driven product.
Yeah.
First of all, just think about it. Today, people don't start with a great breakfast. And the first thing that I started, with my business is started to be a product of the products.
Yeah.
And what we are looking for in Herbalife Nutrition is basically, having products of the products people. And
how important is that?
Look, how would I be able to sell something that I don't believe in? Sometimes you can sell something that is great because it's great, but you will be limited. You won't be so passionate about it. What happens is when you're true products of the products, it doesn't matter what is your salary, what is your wage, how much money you're making out of it. You know that you're loving what you're doing, and eventually you are going to start making big bucks.
Yeah.
So, also it has helped me in building my team because I don't have to talk so much. You talk less and you show more.
Yeah.
And in network marketing, it's simple. I was driven by residual income. Today, people are looking for retail profit, they are looking for a wage, they are looking for exchange their time for money, and I'm not in this type of mindset. I encourage literally everyone to take a look at what is possible. Like, start a self-business, go for failure. Most people, they are scared of failure.
Yeah.
And I would say go for failure, and I would say also, take a look at, different network marketing companies. And you can start from scratch, and also you hear all the stories. I started from the bottom, went all the way up. This is my story, but the story is more about started from humble beginnings, and falling in love with a company with mission-driven products, and alongside mission-driven people, and living with passion.
Question you asked me the other day was about my biggest failures.
Yeah.
What are yours?
Look, I guess, when I started, I thought I was going to kill it in my first year.
Yeah.
So it's, you never actually, you never know what failure looks like.
Yeah.
For some people, failure is like debts, you go bankrupt, it's 100K in debts, and you're losing your business, you're losing probably, houses or whatever. It was not my thing. My thing was, I thought I was going to kill the game and to have like 200 people with me starting, after my first or second month, and that after a year I would be like, I would be at the top. And literally, I was 1 year in the business and I was just an average person. And it was not failure. It was failure if I took my first goal. It was not what I was looking for. But literally, my biggest failure would have been to give up.
Okay.
And I see today that I had struggles, and sometimes people resonate struggles with failure. But failure happens when you give up. Failure happens when you don't focus on the solution, but when you focus on the problems.
So talking about that, how important is resilience in winning in life and business like you have?
I mean, if you start something with a backup plan, you're done. You're already losing. And I started with an it's impossible to go back type of mindset. I'm not going back. I found it. I could get healthier, I could get happier, I was surrounded by great people, and depending on my efforts, I could make more money myself than in any other jobs. I could still do my rugby, I could still do my trainings, and I could empower others doing the same thing and make residual income. If I would have given up because I was not happy with the results, I would have been mad. So one thing about resilience is that if you're thinking already about giving up, don't start. And I sincerely believe that people put too much pressure on their shoulder, and that's why they are not resilient. They are putting pressure, they are looking at the results, and they don't love the process as much as they would love the results. And resilience for me, you got to love the process more than the results.
Man, I did a post the other day about that exact topic, about actually loving the process, and how important is actually loving what you do. And you would do it without money, you'd do it without anything, just because you love it. How important is that to actually getting ahead?
This morning you inspired me with the motivational Monday video, because you were just free going to do that video. You had, it was not pressure. What you were going to say. It was all flow, right? Just because you love it. And this is what's inspiring me. When you love what you're doing, actually you don't have to put any pressure on your shoulder. Someone asked me yesterday before going on stage, do you experience pressure when you go on stage? I'm like, when I started, I did not know what it was like. So of course you can have a bit of pressure, but once you do it once or twice and 3 times, and you're actually practicing, what happens is when you do what you love, you don't have to think too much about it, and you just go with the flow. So every time we do something with passion, we are not focusing on the end results. We are lowering down our expectations, and we are rising up our standards. We gotta do what we love.
Standards, good word. So tell me about your standards. Like, how do you obviously have higher standards, but at one stage you had standards which were lower than what they are. How do you go about getting bigger, better, newer standards?
So standards for me is very simple. It's what is acceptable. So when I started, it was acceptable for me to have, let's say 5 customers or 5 guys in my team, until it was not acceptable anymore. So I had to higher my standards and to become the next version of what I wanted to get. So then, what was acceptable was now to have 25 customers, 25 people in the team, let's say. And until it was not acceptable anymore. So we always got to pay attention at what our standards what our standards are, because if you're not happy with where you are right now, set new goals and just go demolish them. And this is for me, one key tip for everyone out there watching the video. Pay attention, at where you are right now, where you want to be, and this is your standards. That will just make you put in the action. If you have low standards, if it's acceptable to just do not much, then you won't do much. If it's not acceptable at all, and you got to do something great because this is what you want, you will put in the action. So, it goes together. A big why, big reason with, massive action, and that comes from high standards life.
Yeah, fantastic. And you mentioned the word goals, one of my favorite words. How do you go about your goal setting? What are the strategies you use? Do you write them down daily, weekly, monthly? Do you put, yearly goals? What's your strategy around goal setting?
Good point. I've watched, at first, I watched Jim Rohn on, the power of setting goals, and that really inspired me. And but you really got to find your own way at setting goals. And I believe that most people, they are trying to look at videos, watch videos, and get inspired, and that's a great first step. But the second step is actually being yourself in setting up your goals. And for me, I'm looking at, let's say, long-term goals. But long-term are not so long-term. Long-term goals would probably be something like a year or 2-year plan. And then mid-term goals would be probably 3 to 6 months plan. And then short-term goals is what I need to create now. So let's say, for example, I'm looking at, having new properties in a year time. I'm looking at, what I want to get, let's say, for example, as a property in 1 year time. I know exactly how much I need. And from how much I need is okay, if I don't want to spend the money that I have, how much do I need to make in the next 3 to 6 months? and which kind of actions can I put in every day now in order to get to the...
And you write down those actions that you need to do?
Exactly. So I have my daily to-do list. That's a big tip for everyone out there also. You know, when you're going to sleep, you got to have your own to-do list. Because if you're strong with your to-do list, what's going to happen is you're going to go to bed with hunger, properly, like you're on your way, and you're going to wake up with a purpose, with daily intentions. And I touched that, you know, throughout the weekend. We had this amazing, you know, convention, and you know, I had, you know, about 10 hours guest speaking, but I kept saying the same thing. Daily intentions. You know, what's the difference between extraordinary people from successful people? You know, I'm not talking about the difference between successful and unsuccessful people. I'm talking about extraordinary people. People who are doing the extraordinary from the successful people is daily intentions.
Tim Story says with purpose, on purpose.
With purpose, on purpose.
Pretty cool, eh?
I love it.
So tell us about intention. So what's, you know, let's go into you and your intentions. Like what is it that you've got the business, you're successful, you've got the entrepreneurship thing going on, you got properties, you got all this stuff, but what is the actual intention for you? Like what makes you tick?
Okay,
what is it you're trying to achieve?
At the end of the day, I'm just thinking like that. You know, yesterday I was walking to the event, and I asked one person or two, you know, why did you wake up this morning? Why did you wake up this morning for? And you know, the answers were a bit weird, you know, and you know, different answers. But I said, you know, then they asked me the question back, and I said, literally, I'm here today to live my best day ever. To live my best day ever. To just give my best. And so a tip for everyone also would be, you know, you gotta wake up and you gotta have the intention, and you gotta be remembered for giving your best. Because what I'm looking for today in whatever I'm gonna put energy in is to inspire others to think that, you know, there is always room to create something more. There is always value to add to the marketplace. We can always be nicer to someone else. We can always, you know, build something from our own hands that is going to be, you know, helping someone, you know, move forward. And most people, I truly believe that they are not living a truly happy life. And why is that? Is because they don't know their reason to be. What's the reason to be? What is it? You know, what are you put on earth for? And really, we are the same. We're all the same. We are here to live our best life, to leave a mark, and to inspire others to do the same thing. So, you know, I'm starting this, you know, you're going to see it soon, you know, a clothing little thingy. I'll send you some shirts.
Please do.
And, you know, what's going to be, you know, I want people to higher their self-esteem. I want people to think better about themselves. And I really want to help people move forward.
So that's your why. That's deep
down,
that's your intention.
And you know why? Because, you know, I was in a position where, you know, I was looking at others and I was thinking, you know, I wish I could have what they have. I wish I could do what they do. Until I understood that it was up to me. And, you know, I guess that with what we do today and what I do every single day is giving an opportunity for others to join a platform that can allow themselves to higher their self-esteem, do a bit more every single day, have healthier and happier results, and, you know, think about, you know, what kind of value can you add to the marketplace. So we are taking back people to a position where it's not like waking up to go for the 9-to-5 job, but actually think, you know, what can I create? What can I create? So I'm here to build creators. Fantastic.
Now let's switch gears a little bit and go into marketing. You've got quite a decent following, 90 or so thousand on Instagram. What are you, as far as your marketing, what have you found that works? Is Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat? What are the platforms that have worked well for you?
So I started on Facebook with about 800 friends, and I had 800 friends just basically purely because I traveled a little bit. I traveled first to Scotland. Edinburgh. I was 20 years old. I was playing rugby. People would follow from university, from rugby, from high school, from, you know, everywhere I would go, I would already keep contact with people. That's a key point. And then I traveled to Australia, so same thing. You know, because I was probably doing something different, I managed to just build more relationships with people, and it was a drive for me to keep contact with them. And then, you know, started from Facebook, and then I opened my Instagram account when I came here in Australia. And basically, you know, I think I'm up to 80,000 followers. It's still nothing compared to, you know, million followers people, but it's still big for people who are just getting started today. If I have one tip is, you know, really differentiate yourself. Do something that doesn't resonate with the world, but resonates with you. And people love following, for example, and taking ideas and waking up in the morning, follow a little bit about what I've been doing, you know, the day before, just because purely, you know, they see someone who's giving his best, living his best life, and they want to be doing the same thing. So really find your passion. Do what you love. Don't try to be someone else. And you know, people will follow. And then you obviously need to have an attractive offer. What's the attractive offer? People can look amazing and have no followers, and you have other people, they look freaking amazing too, but they have an offer. They've got something to send people into, you know, whatever. It can be like a business, it can be humanitarian stuff, it can be, you know, parties, it can be anything. So really about marketing, you know, I do what I love, and I'm trying to show something where, you know, I can bring them I can bring something into their life which is new and that they might enjoy.
All right, so one of the topics I have in my book coming out probably at the end of the year, maybe early next year, is live a life worth documenting. And you seem to do that pretty well. Tell me a little bit about that side of things and what you believe in.
You know, what I truly believe is that, you know, when you love what you do and you're on purpose with purpose, right? You don't even think about creating something. You're just thinking about documenting it. You know, you don't think too much. You know, I know my audience. You know, I know my audience. The audience is looking at something where they can be inspired. They can be better. They can do something. They can act on something. And so I'm looking at documenting what I'm doing. So it's the training. I'm not trying to educate people. I'm just showing what I'm doing. And this is the way to document. Like I go on your profile. I love what I see because you're documenting your travels. You know, you're not trying to create something, but you're trying to document. So remember, there is a differentiation between, you know, creating, you know, and documenting. First, you got to create yourself. You know, who are you on the marketplace? But then it's not about creating posts every day. It's about documenting what you're actually doing.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I think we've got to go do some work. Let's call it quits there. But thanks so much for joining us down here in beautiful Broadbeach. Fantastic day. It's going to be a cracker of a day at 30. Looks like about 30 degrees, something like that. You don't get that in. Oh, actually, it's summer in France now, right?
So right now in Cannes, it's about 35 degrees.
Man, I miss that place. I got to go back.
What about next year? You coming?
I'm coming, man. We're going to Monaco Grand Prix together, right?
All right.
Let's do it. All right, bro.
Amazing.